Dear student, welcome back. In a last video, just I provide the introduction part of electric charge as well as electric potential, and depending on that electric charge and electric field and electric potential, we can learn the new concept called electric current. First we learn what is the meaning of electric current, then we are going to learn the different kind of definite materials and what are their charge carriers, that we're going to discuss in today's video. In case of electric current is denoted by letter I. Keep this point in your mind. Electric current denoted by letter I. It may be a capital letter or it may be a small letter. Electric current is nothing but the flow of electric charge. Dear student, in our first chapter itself you learn the different properties of charge. There are two kind of charge we learn: positive charge and negative charge, and the flow of those two kind of charge, that we call it as electric charge, in a definite direction constitute electric current. Keep this point in your mind. The flow of electric charges in a definite direction constitute electric current. That is the meaning of or definition of electric current. And again we can get the clear definition for electric current now. The time rate of flow of electric charge. Remember, with respect to time there will be a flow of electric charge through any cross section. If we consider any conductor, it have a suitable area of cross section. For any cross section of conductor is measure of the electric current through it. Again I repeat definition of electric current: the time rate of flow of electric charges through any cross section of a conductor is a measure of the electric current through it. It is one of the important definition. In a simple way we can call it as the time rate of flow of electric charge. In a simple way, the rate of flow of electric charges itself we call it as electric current. Again these 2 points are very much important. First I said the flow of electric charges in a definite direction. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಂಡಿಗೆ, that will constitute electric current. And definition for electric current is the time rate of flow of electric charges through any cross section of a conductor is a measure of the electric current through it. In a simple way, the rate of flow of electric charges itself providing electric current. If a charges are flowing from one end to another end, that process we call it as conduction process. Due to conduction of charges from one end to another end, it provide the electric current, or we call it as current. Now move on to next important thing. When a flow of charge through a conductor is steady, just imagine if I consider any one conductor like this. It is a given conductor, it have a suitable area of cross section, I denote it as A. This conductor got a huge charge carrier. The different types of charge carriers are there in a different systems, like solid, liquid and gases. Different kind of charge carriers are there, we'll discuss in the next part. Up to that, remember, this conductor got a huge amount of charge carrier. That charge carriers are moving from one end A to another end B in a particular direction. And again the flow of charge from one end to another end, that we call it as steady state flow or steady flow, is not a random flow. If a charge flow is steady, now depending on that we can think about this condition here. When a flow of charges through a conductor is steady, the electric current is denoted by using the equation I is equal to Q divided by T. Now mathematically I can denote expression for electric current as I is equal to Q divided by T. This equation is applicable if charge flow is steady. If there will be a random flow of charge, we say that it is not a steady flow of charge. The same equation, electric current I, we can denote it as delta Q divided by delta T. Remember, this one is for random flow, or we say that not a steady state flow. If charges are not flowing under steady condition, then we can denote electric current as delta Q divided by delta T. Here time varies as well as flow of charge also varies. It is not a steady state of flow. Now here the ratio of the amount of charge Q flowing through that cross section of the conductor to the time interval t. Remember, we can define electric current by using this equation also. That equation is nothing but I is equal to Q by T. That is nothing but ratio of the amount of charge Q flowing through the cross section of the conductor to the time interval t. In a given time interval t, Q amount of charge is flowing steadily from one end to another end. We denoted by using equation I is equal to Q by T. It also provided a definition, ratio of the amount of charge Q flowing through that cross section of the conductor to the time interval t. If it is not steady, we can denote I is equal to delta Q divided by delta T if the charge flow is not steady. And again, electric current is a scalar quantity. Remember, in a definition I told the flow of charge in a definite direction. I said the charges are a scalar quantity, but charges are flowing in a different direction by the application of potential also, by the application of electric field also. We'll discuss later about that. And remember, the charges are flowing in a definite direction, but electric current is not a vector, it is a scalar quantity. Reason for that is nothing but electric current is a scalar quantity because it follows the laws of scalar addition. Remember, it follows the laws of scalar addition. Electric current is a scalar quantity. The flow of charge in a definite direction from one end of the conductor to another end conductor. By using this logic, we can't say that electric current is a vector. Electric current is nothing but Q divided by T. Q is a charge, is a scalar quantity. You already learned in first chapter. T is the time, is also scalar quantity. Electric current also scalar quantity. But electric current, we have to indicate the direction. It is not by using vector. And again, it is by using direction of flow of charge. The electric current is a scalar quantity because it follows the laws of scalar addition. Remember this. It follows the laws of scalar addition. The angle between wires carrying the current does not affect the total current. Angle between the wires carrying the current does not affect the total current. The reason is, if I consider wire, it carrying a current in this direction, angle subtended is theta is equal to 0 here. If I take a wire like this, again in case of this, angle subtended, the direction of current is nothing but theta here. But in these two cases, the current not going to change. Angle may be different, but the current is same. This clearly indicates that electric current is a scalar quantity. By using this, we can say the angle between the wires carrying the current does not affect the total current. It is an important logic behind electric current. Move on to next important thing. Unit for electric current is ampere. A. Dear student, in a first year itself, you learn SI system of unit. In SI system of unit, you learn 7 basic quantity, and in that 7 basic quantity, electric current is also one of the basic quantity. And electric current we can measure by using the unit called ampere. AMPE. Ampere, denoted by letter capital A. In general, you learn the formula for electric current. I is equal to Q by T. You know that Q is the electric charge. We can measure by using the unit called coulomb. Time, measure by using the unit called second. And we can say that there will be a flow of 1 coulomb of charge in 1 second. That will provide answer. Ampere. That is nothing but, if I say that current is 1 ampere, there will be a 1 coulomb of charge is flowing in 1 second. Remember what I said, the definition here, it is not a definition for electric current unit, and electric current unit is that unit you're going to learn in a one more chapter called moving charges and magnetism. Up to that, remember, unit for electric current is ampere, and logically we can say 1 coulomb of charge flowing in 1 second in a given wire or conductor conductor, it provide a current is equal to 1 ampere, or ampere is a unit for electric current. Next important thing, charge carriers in a different material. Again, in a nature we can think about different material like solid, liquid and gases, and all these matter like solid, liquid and gas, they got a different charge carrier. First we have to think about solids. Again, in case of solid, there will be a three category. The solids may be called conductor, solids may be called semiconductor, or solids may be called insulator. First you have to think about conductor. If I consider for a good conductor, that we call it as metals. If I use the word good conductor, that we call metals. In case of metal, we can think huge number of atoms are closely packed. Just imagine if I consider system is like this, it contains a huge number of atoms, all the atoms are closely packed. If I take any one atom, it containing a center part, we call it as a nucleus. Around a nucleus there will be a number of orbit, you already know. In each orbit we can think about number of electrons. Remember, in a first orbit I can fill 2 electron, second orbit I can fill 8 electron, like that. In a third orbit there will be a huge number of electron, like this. Here, force of attraction between electron present in a first orbit and a nucleus is more stronger compared to force of attraction between a nucleus and outermost orbit electron. This force is less because the force of attraction between nucleus, positively charged particle, and electron is a negatively charged particle. There will be a force of attraction according to Coulomb's law. That force of attraction we denote it as F. As the distance goes on, increases from nucleus to outermost orbit, that we call it as R. That force of attraction inversely proportional to square of the distance. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗೆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೆಗೆಯುವುದು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ. This outermost orbit electron is loosely bound to the nucleus, is very easy to take it out. That type of electrons are called valence electron. Keep this point in your mind. That type of electrons are called valence electron. That's why for a good conductor, that is metal, the valence electron are the charge carrier. These valence electron we can easily take it out. That's why these valence electrons also called it as free electron. We can easily take that electron outside by supplying minimum amount of energy. We can easily take. These valence electrons are easily available for conduction process, especially in metals or good conductors. That's why in case of good conductor we can get the current due to charge carrier called free electron or valence electron. Free electrons or valence electrons are the electron present in the outermost orbit of the atom. These electrons are loosely bound to the nucleus. That's why these electrons take part in the conduction process, especially in case of good conductors or metals. These valence electrons or free electrons are responsible for current, especially in case of good conductor or metals. And the second important thing for semiconductor got a conductivity less compared to conductor and more compared to insulator. And the semiconductor are classified in two types. Like in case of semiconductor, depending on their purity, depending on their impurity or doping, there are two kind of semiconductor: intrinsic type of semiconductor or extrinsic. In case of extrinsic type of semiconductor is with impurity or dopant. In an extrinsic type of semiconductor there will be two kind of semiconductor called N type and P type. Especially in case of semiconductor, electrons and holes are the charge carrier. Here strength or amount of charge carriers are minimum. Both negative and positive charges are responsible for electric current, especially in a semiconductor. And best example you can think about devices called diode. In a diode, we can think about the P type as well as N type of semiconductor. That is nothing but extrinsic type of semiconductor. They merge together, we will get a PN junction. That PN junction is leading towards the device called diode. Especially in case of diode or in a semiconductor, electrons and holes are the charge carrier. In case of semiconductor, we can think about pure type of semiconductor like silicon and germanium. Especially we can think about charge carriers called electron and holes. Next important thing, for insulator, the valence electrons are involved in forming the covalent bond and ionic bond. Especially in case of insulator, valence electrons are take part or they involved in a forming. I already told valence electrons are nothing but electron present away from the nucleus or in outermost orbit. Whatever electron present we call it as valence electron. That valence electrons are involved in forming the covalent bond or ionic bond. So no electrons are available freely. So no conduction process. Automatically conduction is difficult or not possible, especially in case of insulator. To get the current is difficult in case of insulator. These are three important types under solid in a charge carrier in a different materials. Next you have to think about second category we call it as liquids. In case of liquids, those conduct charge through them. Any liquid, those conduct charge through them are called electrolysis. Remember, are called electrolysis or electrolytic solution. And in case of electrolytes or liquids, ions are the charge carrier. Ions are the charge carrier. Positive ions usually we call it as cation. Negative ions usually we call it as anion. These two ions, positive ion as well as negative ion, we call it as cation as well as anions, are the charge carriers, especially in case of liquids, or we call it as electrolysis or electrolytic solution. Again, if I take an example like NaCl, this NaCl undergoes certain process. It's going to liberate Na plus ion as well as Cl minus ion, and one is cation and the one is anion. These cation and anions are responsible, that is nothing but ions are responsible to get the conduction process or current in case of liquids. And the third important thing in case of different material is nothing but gases. Under normal condition, a gas cannot conduct electricity. Keep that point in your mind. Under normal conditions, a gas cannot conduct electricity. If gases conduct electricity, air is a gaseous medium. If gas conduct electricity, if you walk here and there, automatically you start getting the electric shock or current shock. Is it possible? No. The reason is this: under normal conditions, a gas cannot conduct electricity. If high energy photon, or we call it as X-ray photons, if high energy photon or X-ray photon, when you want to pass it through a gas, can split neutral gas atoms into charged constituent. Keep this point in your mind. When you're going to pass a high energy photon to a gaseous system or X-ray photon to a gaseous system, can split the neutral gas atoms into charged constituent. These are the few important things or points in case of to get the electric current in a solid, liquid and gases. And next video we'll discuss and how we can get the current in a conductor, especially in a conductor. What are the different terms or quantity is responsible to get the current in a conductor, we'll discuss in next video. Thank you.